Hi everyone, this is Rod's English Classroom. Today we are very happy to invite an outstanding alumnus from Xinzhuang High School, and he is also one of the students in my class. Okay, let's welcome him to share his learning experience with you guys. Okay, let's welcome Max. Okay, so Max, let's begin with the life after you graduate from college. Okay, let's talk about your college life first.
Alright, so there's some good news. I just leave the military service.
So you mean you are a retired soldier?
Yeah, I'm a veteran right now.
Veteran, okay, retired soldier.
After I graduated from college, I took the TOEIC test. I got 920.
920.
Until
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that means I got the golden certification.
Golden certificate.
A very expensive piece of paper.
Very close to me. I got 935. He's much better than me right now. Okay.
Right, you can say that again.
Okay. Anything that you want to share with us to encourage those junior high school students that are becoming the freshmen in senior high school?
I went to many different institutes, but I think Rod's lessons has a great difference from others. We don't just read from the books. If we see some topics and we want to act something else in that scenario,
We dig further and deeper.
if you want to learn something more, I think Rod is a very good instructor.
Wow, that's flatter. Really surprised to hear what he said. Okay.
Yeah, we're taking a video.
That's good. How did you spend your studying years when you prepare the college entrance exam, especially when you are preparing for the English test?
To be honest, I didn't spend much time on English. We use English every day in class, in your life, when you're watching videos, watching movies. So English is kind of an easy subject for me. And Rod's class, of course. You need to attend Rod's class to learn something more.
He just delayed for 3 seconds.
Right.
We need to re-edit this. What kind of difference do you think that you have in this class and other class?
In other class, there may be hundreds of students. The teacher might not have that much time to answer your question.
You may take care of everyone.
Right, especially your question doesn't connect it to the lessons. You might just come up with
Something related to your life.
right,
Urgent problems.
urgent problem.
Boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah, getting married and getting divorced.
You're
Something
not
like
talking
that.
about me, right? And what makes you think that it's a big deal to have a chance to talk to the instructor, or what makes you think it's a great benefit for you to contact with the instructor?
Of course, the internet nowadays is very convenient.
You can Google everything by yourself.
Right, if you Google a vocabulary or just a sentence, it works well. But if you want to explain something in detail, you not only need the vocabulary and the sentence, you need to know how the Americans or the English speakers express the subject, the topic.
I know that. From my personal experience, I used to learn English in the Mormon church when I was in Hualien, the Eastern Coast village in Taiwan. They didn't correct me just directly. When I say, I like to look at TV, they didn't say, no, hey boy, you said something wrong. I like to watch TV. They just said it in the natural way.
Right.
Because, oh, you mean you like to watch TV? They are not gonna judge you that you made a mistake. They just said in the correct way to show you how they use it. And that's the point of the language. In the old days, when I asked you and your classmates to hand in the composition, that's what I mean. I want to check your usage. I want to make sure your sentence is in the right grammatical order. And that's why we need so much time on the English composition. You benefit a lot from that, right?
Right, I really appreciate. By the way, there's many synonyms. Many words shares the same meaning, but the usage is a lot of difference.
So what's the difference between the high school English and the English in college campus? You think the level is different, or people put emphasis on the professional subjects, not instead of English? They just use English as a tool, as a carriage.
The point of using English is to communicate. In high school, in college, it's all the same. But in college, you're gonna have to learn a certain subject, there will be some vocabularies that you haven't seen before. You learn English in high school, and then you learn some new vocabularies in college. That's what it is.
The same meaning, but they got different definition. That's what I remind them in my class. Just like what he said in the beginning, I really appreciate that Rod has done something for us. Appreciate means you are thankful for something. In the other meaning, if you use appreciate, it means you know the value, you know how to judge the beauty. For example, if I said, I did a major in art, I didn't know how to appreciate the beauty of Mona Lisa. So appreciate means to identify, to recognize the beauty of something. But if you major in economics, appreciate means the currency has increased its value. For example, if you said the US dollar keeps appreciating, it means you have to spend more money to buy a new iPhone or a Tesla. Appreciating means the currency has increased its value. And the opposite of appreciating means the currency is depreciating. 所以货币升值跟贬值在英文，升值叫 appreciate， 贬值叫 depreciate. So that's the difference. That's the different level, different usage, and different meaning, different definitions.
I major in
Filmmaking, making a
college.
movie.
We have to use many softwares to edit the video or the movie. The software is often in English, and the lessons online, the tutorial videos online, is all in English. You have to use English to learn how to use the software. As long as you have the basic level or the basic ability of using English, I think it will be easy for you to learn something else in college.
When we learn English in high school, we should recognize that in high school level contains a lot of words that's called polysemmy, which means a single word contains multiple meanings. Something like book. When you learn the word book in junior high school, it means a book. You read a book. You have a context book. During the class, you have to open your book. Book is just something like magazine. Okay, it has a lot of pages. Book is a noun. But in TOEIC English, in business English, booking means you make a reservation. For example, you book a flight, you book a table, you make a reservation before you board an airline, you book a table before you go to the restaurant. So book has two different meanings. If you use it as a noun, it has many pages, it's a noun. But if you use as a verb, book means you make a reservation. So that's called polysemy. So Max, can you share with us that how you learn English during these years?
First of all, I think learning English is a habit. English is a tool to connect it with the world. It's not just a subject that you take a quiz and you forget everything you learn. To use English, you have to speak up. You have to speak a lot, you listen a lot. You recall when you learn Chinese or Taiwanese when you're little. You don't learn a language just from the books.
You mean involved in a lot of different subjects?
Especially in Rod's class, right? We talk a lot.
Yeah, we talk a lot.
About all the topics. About
Trash
all
talk. Academic discussion and trash talk.
Interest talk. So if you want to learn something, you want to learn in English, you can ask Rod about the authentic speaking English that you can use to learn the area, the domains that you're going to reach.
When you get involved, you become more familiar with the subject. And then you use English as a tool and a driven force that push you forward to make you progress, to make you a better person.
The information nowadays is all in English.
Everything comes from America.
Know how to read or know how to listen to English. It will be easy for you to get the first-handed information.
Will you share with us that how you conquer the fear of speaking English in public?
It reminds me of a trip to Europe with my family in 2019. And in Europe, they rarely speak English. They speak Croatian, they speak other language, Italian,
French, German.
They still can speak the basic English. And in that scenario, I realized I have the ability to speak English. The key to conquer the fear of speaking English is to practice. Because when you practice, you can correct yourself or someone else will correct you. And when you get better, you will not be worried to speak up.
So that's the point. You have to get involved. You have to speak to the real people. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. We learn by trying and error.
Right.
That's good. That's the point.
So Rob, I'm very curious that the information in the internet is very convenient now, especially for learning English. So is the student nowadays better than what we used to be?
Well, actually, they're not. They're facing a different problem. They learn everything under table, which means they lock up themselves in the room, in the bedroom. They don't talk in class. They talk online, but they prefer to type keyboard instead of talking directly in person. The problem is, if they don't speak, if they don't make mistakes, they will never try and learn. A lot of people said language is learned by errors and mistakes, but if they don't make any mistakes, how can they make improvement? They dare not to speak, and they are not willing to speak, and that's the problem. I always remind them that if you want to play baseball, you have to swing. If you want to be a basketball player, you have to make the shot. Try to make the shot. If you want to be a marathon competitor, you have to run. You need to take the initiatives, which means you need to take actions. Their lack of motivations to learn, their lack of self-confidence, they just want to text the message, and that's the problem. They want to learn in secret. I don't know why. Languages should be a tool, should be a carriage that helps them send a message to others, but they just they choose to type instead of talk to the real person. That's the problem. If they want to improve, if they want to make progress, they have to come out to contact people, to speak up, to put their usage into their daily lives. That's the only way they could make progress. I think that's their problem.
Listening and reading, you can do it by yourself. You read a lot, you listen a lot, and then you improve the abilities. But speaking and writing,
You have to connect people.
right? We often make grammatical mistakes when we're composing the conversation. As for the senior, I think they should hand in the composition for you to correct them.
Okay, last questions.
All right.
Max, do you have any inspiring or encouraging suggestion for those freshmen that are entering the senior high school campus?
So I think English is not just a subject, it's a habit. You have to learn it every day, you have to use it a lot to get familiar with. And
English is a habit.
Right.
Good. That's a quote.
5 years ago, no one is gonna know the pandemic just gonna happen. So luckily, we have modern equipment, we have internet that can help us, even if we are in a quarantine period, just like what you're doing, right? You have online course.
Yes, now we have Google Meet. We conclude all the students, even though they stay at home, they got a Google account. So we gather them, we pull them up, we got the same date, the same time, and they separate themselves at home. They have their equipment, and we can still have class at the same time, even though they are at home. That's what we are doing right now. Anything else?
Let's call it a day, right?
Okay, let's call it a day. Good. Okay, freshmen, congratulations.
Right.
And I'll be expecting you to become as good as Max. Okay, see you next time. Bye.
Bye.